Right here.
Yeah,
Maybe scrolling or
yeah. I'm on VR. The controller doesn't. But is it the button on the right? I guess OK is on the right.
one of them. I think either one works.
Okay, let's see.
You got it. Yeah, you got it.
All right, cool. Flying blind, but this is
Okay,
great.
perfect. Okay, who
Thank you.
else?
I have
M
identity now.
M sub 2. You
That's
need
cute.
a
Yeah.
avatar.
Yeah, do you have something that like can quickly well, I guess probably trying to optimize my VRM might take a little more than a couple minutes.
Do you want cool? I'll give you one of these polygonal mind ones. How about
Sure.
um do you want what's your favorite food?
Just give me the pizza one.
Got it.
Is my avatar showing up?
Yep.
Is that too heavy?
Nope.
Who's that, Coltra?
Yeah.
Yep.
In VR, yours doesn't show up.
Yeah, I see diamonds.
Yeah.
I see.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, the only VRM, like typical-ish VRM model I see here, I think is NARS, unless that's also one of the 100 avatars.
It's not.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks nice.
Okay. You will get this one. Here you go. It's over here.
Perfect.
Is there a way to mute unmute with the controller?
I don't believe so.
All right.
I'm pizza.
Okay. Any other people want to be in VR on the panel, or if you're in desktop mode, so like CodeFrau, M sub 2,
Yeah.
Christian.
Mhm.
Jimmy, do you have a mic? Do you want to be on there?
Sure. Do you have
No,
an
you
avatar for
guys.
me?
Okay.
Anything purple is good.
Add the handles. So in terms of the name tags and sub.
Oops.
Can you all just remind me of your Twitter handles?
I'm sub 2 official.
I'm CodeFrau.
Let me see if I can move my charger somewhere closer.
Oh, that penguin is too cute.
Where's CodeFrau? I don't see.
What's the plan?
Where are you? Okay. Which chair you want?
I don't know. This one maybe. Did it join for me? Ah, fun.
There we go.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep. Is that you, Christian?
This is me. Yep.
No.
Is that you, Jimmy? Is that you talking?
No, it's me. Sorry. I'm here.
We don't have spatial audio. I don't know who me is.
It's me. I'm the one jumping here. Wow. The one on here.
Here?
Yes.
Here?
Yes, that's me.
Okay. You're going to be on a panel.
Am I?
Sure. See, let's get you a
well, if
avatar.
it's about developing for WebXR, I might have some insights on that.
Okay. Good.
You want me in VR or here?
No, I'm giving you an avatar. You just click it, okay? You're gonna be a cool alien.
Yes.
Ooh, everything just froze.
Yeah, whenever something gets added to the world, that happens.
Sorry.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm gonna rate it. Oh, that's nice. Cool. This is great. I love this.
No, it's still frozen.
Might have
Oh,
to
yeah.
enter,
Reload.
exit, re-enter.
Sorry, I deleted the avatar pedestal. On Earthworm, Jim, I just sent him the link.
Yeah,
Okay.
you look cool, dude.
Where's your? Okay, you sit right here. And what would your Twitter handle be?
Let me write it in chat.
Okay.
I wish there's a better bone in the hands to set controllers to, because it's set to wrist right now.
Let me check if my microphone is set up correctly, if it's the right one.
I mean, we can hear you pretty
Yeah,
well. So.
I have like a studio microphone, so.
Oh, nice. I think someone texted me.
Yeah, this is totally wrong. So.
Okay. Now
Is
you
this better?
can click the chair.
Is this better?
Yeah, you're good. You look good.
Okay. No, I mean, is the quality of the audio better? Because I was using my webcam.
It sounds good.
Okay.
Jimmy, you wanna pick one of those chairs by the audience area?
Oh, there's even a cigar, man. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, cigars. They're not grabbable yet, but soon.
Wouldn't podcast without him.
All right, Morph, you know where to go? Cool. We got a sound guy. Cool. All right. My systems are good to go. Now we're just waiting for CodeFlow. Did I add your? Yes, I did. Who is our fourth? Jim, are you here?
You gonna talk about like fitness stuff or?
Jim, I'm just
I don't
gonna.
know. I don't know. I wasn't even invited. I just came by and just like, you're going on the panel. I don't think I can talk about TFR, but.
I think I might have to reboot my headset. Whenever I try to enter VR, it crashes. Like it worked fine, but.
Well, there's not going to be any more adding stuff
Oh,
into.
now it works. Okay,
Okay.
I'm in.
Okay, cool. Jim, I just made your name tag into SVox tools. So.
Okay, that's fine.
And if okay, one little I guess like pro tip is that I'm gonna add collision to the table, so hold tight for a second. All right. Now, if y'all use the grip buttons and grab the table, you can kind of hoist, you can move around and stuff.
Wow.
Wait, what?
Nice.
Yeah, like grab the table and just push yourself up on the table.
Well,
Like-
you can push yourself up, but you don't like stay there.
You can
if
even
you're
do it
sitting.
from the audience seats.
Christian's got it. Yeah. Getting that workout.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
And let me just add a screen share too. What should I put on the screen for this topic?
Maybe be original and use the WebXR logo.
Yeah.
What's a WebXR site? Awesome WebXR.
I mean that's my repo, but you can get the image from there too.
Oh yeah, I know that, but I mean, we'll do that, and we'll do like I guess okay, I got a thing.
I think immersiveweb.dev has the full like logo with the words WebXR.
Immersiveweb.dev. Perfect. Okay, got it. All right, I'm sharing my screen. Apologies, got to share my screen. Everyone will see it in VR, but I hope it'll go smooth. Are we all alive? Did we make it?
Yep.
We're here.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna hit record now. Cool. Let us camera check. Get Earthworm Jim's camera a little bit further away so people can see the name tag. The beauty of this system is that I can adjust some of these things on the fly. So just give me 1 second and bam, we got it. So now people can see that. And I might adjust some things on, on demand, but we're good. Okay, we're live. Morph, hit the sound. Gotta get the cheers going. All right,
Live
welcome
from New
everyone. We've got an awesome panel here. We've got a crew of WebXR devs, and today's topic is going to be developing for WebXR. Joining us on the stage, we've got I think I got it wrong. It's M sub 2 official, right? Not M2 sub official.
It's M sub 2, yeah.
Yeah, got it. M sub 2 official, welcome. One cool thing about M sub 2 is that he, if you see on the screen over there, he wrote the awesome WebXR repo and has a whole bunch of awesome WebXR projects himself, and created the WebXR Discord, which is where most of the community hangs out in, who are working on virtual and augmented reality experiences on the web. We've got sitting next to him, let me know if I'm saying this right, Sryle XR. Welcome.
Yeah. Hi.
Give us a little bit of background.
Sure. So I've been a WebXR developer since 5 years now, I think. Almost 5 years, 4.5 years. We started off when it was called WebVR with creating a games portal for WebXR and also creating games for it. And nowadays I work full-time on WebXR experiences with clients and as well as our own projects. So we've launched Boulder over last year, and the year before that I've worked on a spring experience called Spray Space, which are nominated for Police this year. And yeah, I just try to push the boundaries of what games and WebXR are and try to make better content. That's what I do.
Awesome. And I wanted to actually, go back to M sub 2. Give us a little bit of background about yourself as well. Just a little quick intro.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you covered a lot of it. Like, I made the WebXR Discord, made that repo. I do a lot for WebXR ever since like September of 2020. Yeah, right now, I currently work with Zesty, where I do a few things. One of them, last year we released a multiplayer first-person shooter called Robot Rally, and I also help to maintain integrations with various Web3D and WebXR frameworks to let people be able to monetize their virtual spaces.
Oh. We actually have Zesty integration here in Hyperfy.
Yeah, I
if I
saw.
open up my menu, yeah, the Zesty app is in here.
Now, that being said, we are in the middle of making like some pretty big changes to it, so it's not going to work for too much longer, but
Gotcha. CodeFrau, give us a little bit of background.
Hi. I've been doing VR since the late 90s. That was interesting. There was still SGI workstations and things. And then right now I'm a co-founder of Croquet. I'm the chief architect there. It's a little startup in LA. Oh yeah, that's our website. At the very top of the website, it's going to load a world. It takes a while. Oh, there we go. Croquet comes out of a Smalltalk project in the early 2000s. And the current version is JavaScript, runs on the web. We do use WebXR, but the more interesting part about it is that it's running on Croquet OS, which is a distributed OS for the web that allows you to write multiplayer apps without ever writing server code. So it's all running client side, it's synced. And on top of that, we built Microverse, which is open source, whereas Croquet OS itself is not. The Microverse environment, that's the part that does support WebXR, even though it's still somewhat rudimentary. It's not our primary platform at the moment. But yeah, we're trying to get better at that. And I come out of the open source community for like 25 years. And so I'm a very big fan of co-creating the future.
That is awesome. So this, just kind of looking through it here, and what's kind of interesting is that, no matter what framework or tech stack, as long as we're kind of building on the web, it can all be linked together. And that's kind of what's really special about the WebXR community, is that there's kind of just some natural alignment between all of our projects, and that we could connect these things, and they can become greater than the sum of their parts.
Right.
Totally.
So Earthworm Jim, welcome. I've got your name tag as the project that many know you by. Give us a little bit of background and intro.
Hi, good evening. I'm based in the Netherlands. I'm used to be a long time ago a professional programmer, but I've been leading teams ever since. I'm currently in the IoT space, actually. I'm a product manager somewhere. But for hobby, I really like the WebXR, all of it around everything around that. I started out with that about 4 or 5 years ago, just playing around with A-frame, etc. And at some point, I got carried away with my Smooth Voxels project. I'm a hobby programmer usually, so I've a hard disk with, I don't know, 500 unfinished projects. But this was one I actually managed to finish at some point, because I thought it might actually be useful for other people, and it's slowly being picked up for. You've been using it for wearables, WebSpace is using it, so I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, I love it, SVox. Dude, it's so powerful, because not only is like voxels very accessible for world building, like 3D modeling, but this turns it into something that is a open format, GLTF, and we've got actually like your booth, and we could do this. Sorry about the lag, but I just kind of want to show a little bit of this behind the scenes for the camera.
So the booth is actually just one Magica voxel model, and everything comes from that. So indeed, that works. That was actually quite fun for me to do as well, because I usually make small stuff. That's sort of what you do mostly with voxels. I make a lot of small stuff, but making something a bit larger is actually a lot of fun and easier than I thought.
If you turn behind you, you may see it just kind of like lurking in the corner there.
Oh, that's the new one. That's good.
Yep. Yeah, so smooth voxels is something that can also convert a bunch of Vox models into GLTF via a CLI tool. Check that out on GitHub. We'll drop a link in the description. Cool. And we also have some really awesome guests in the studio, and I want to give a quick round for folks to kind of make an intro. We've got this classy looking penguin here. You want to give a quick intro? We'll just do a
Am I the classy penguin?
yes.
Hi, also, my name is Christian. I'm based out of San Francisco. I come from a more traditional front-end development background. And my interest in WebXR is I'm working on a way to use web components to kind of encapsulate a lot of the logic of making UIs for worlds so that you could just write in JSX divs, spans, buttons and stuff like that, and style them using CSS, but then the rendering output would be in WebGL in whatever world, kind of like you're trying to embed that in. And yeah, I'm super interested in the space and trying to learn from all of you and seeing what's out there in terms of.
Oh yeah. Nar, you want to give a quick intro? That's cool. Who's that next to him? Jimmy. Jimmy doesn't have mic on, but welcome all, welcome. So let us the first topic I wanted to talk about is current projects. And I think let's kind of discuss it from the POV of maybe some of the challenges that you're facing in creating what you're working on. And we will just start out with M sub 2.
Sure. Yeah, so I got a couple personal projects that are kind of like in the works at the moment. The first one, the furthest along, is a recreation of the very first VR game that I ever made, actually, called Lemon Atoll. It was the first time I'd ever touched Steam VR in Unity, and I made my first ever VR game for a 3-day game jam where nobody else made a VR game, and it got really bad ratings because no one could play it. But like the gist would be that you're on like a
Is it
tropical
online
island.
anywhere? Can I bring it up on the screen?
Yeah, so you can bring up the old one. Go to msub2.itch.io.
Is it here? Like on
It's not on GitHub.
msub2.itch.io.
Yep. And then scroll down. Yeah, Lemon Atoll. Yeah, so this version uses Unity with the WebXR export, but I really wanted to kind of like come at it again with like the experience that I've gained over the past couple years with WebXR, and I'm remaking it in A-frame with PhysX, and I'm really far along now. I'd honestly say it looks even a bit better than it does in Unity right here. Some of the last things that I need to take care of are just like in-world UI, basically, and then adding in a couple of integrations, and then that will probably be like ready to launch.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah, and then the second thing that I have, which I've been working on and off, is it's a more like narrative focused game, and it's sort of also part of a larger sort of like shared universe thing that I'm like trying to build, and that's been a little more slow going, if only because I guess one of my inspirations is because I've played a lot of games. Like you can tell like games are kind of like my focus. It's the thing that I sort of like am building the most of with WebXR. and I've played a lot of walking sims, a lot of good walking sims too, and like using video games as a narrative like medium, and having player immersion and like interaction drive stories forward. That's the kind of thing that like really interests me, and is what I'm trying to do with this, if only on like a really small scale. I'm trying to, I guess the biggest challenge is sort of like how to convey like these things that I've experienced in all these like native games before. How do I translate that into what I know how to do with WebXR, um, to like make something that will resonate with people and touch
True
them and all that.
that. I mean, we are kind of building a lot of the groundwork ourselves. It's, the web doesn't have the decades of time investment that native engines have. And I'm sure many here kind of
Yeah.
experienced development struggles of, the tools to use to create such experiences. Anyone have any kind of thoughts on just the ecosystem around building WebXR experiences,
Oh yeah.
and what you would kind of wish for and are struggling with at the moment?
I have some thoughts on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. So we started off with Unity in 2018, I think. That back then, WebXR wasn't even standardized. It was WebVR, working only on certain browsers, not even like comparable to what it is today. And it was very difficult to get anything running on a Quest, basically, that performed nicely. So our first game, which is not even online anymore, was basically um, you had a crossbow and you shot like barrels that were coming down and worked fine with like an HTC Vive and a PC. And when we ran it on the Quest One when it came out, when we got our hands on one, yeah, it was pretty bad. So we had to scale it down, and it ran on like very poor frame rates, and the texture were blurry, all that stuff. So we were obviously like thinking, okay, what do we do now? And then because I come from a Unity background, so I have to learn complete web stack new, and A-Frame and 3JS are just amazing things, I think, for making WebXR content, and they've only improved in the years since then.
Have you
And
checked out Needle Tools, by the way?
I haven't. I left Unity back in 2019. I think was the last project I did, which was
Oh,
not
oh,
even a
that,
WebXR project, but I switched to Wonderland now. So the story is obviously like we were working with A-Frame, and that was very tiring for people like me who don't really come from a classical web background, to use tools that were not very visually appealing, like things like Hyperfy didn't exist back then, things like Needle tools didn't exist back then. So my co-founder Jonathan Hale, he was like, okay, let me build an engine. So he created Wonderland basically to, you know, help WebXR creators like me basically help create WebXR experiences. And now I use that, which is really fun. It is similar to component-based workflow that Unity has, but it's more focused on using like a web stack. So it has like node support. It has
what is
everything to
a
do with JavaScript and
site that
Spring.
has all the like demos and experiences? So there's like, was it Construct Arcade?
It's Javier now. So Ferry over there, they're managing and running the site now.
Got it. Yeah, I
And
see it.
yeah,
And
and
this
yeah,
site
that's
has a bunch of WebXR experiences, right?
Hmm.
yes, exactly. And a lot of them are also things that I've built with my team, and we're also working on some of those games. So if you go back, one of the first games we built was a Barista Express, which is like a coffee making game. If you go down, um, you can even play it on the browser. So
I haven't even
and
played it.
yeah,
There's a lot
I hope you
here, and
like it.
honestly, when I look at this website, I'm just like itching to make this into an actual arcade. And you'll see someone made a booth that would be perfect for Construct Arcade. Sith Lord, who isn't here at the moment, but he is going to be part of the expo soon. But this looks awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thanks. And a lot of the games are not mine. I've not worked on them, but some of them are. And we've just been trying to improve like what's been possible with games in WebXR ever since we've created. So if you start from like what White Rabbit has created, which was what we call our company, since 2018, we've always pushed the agenda, and we're trying to do that in the next step as well. So we have a couple of projects that are in their planning phase that make gaming and WebXR more than what they are today. I can't really talk about them too much, but I hope like this year we'll make some announcements on what we're working on, what we're cooking.
Nice. That's exciting. Godfrey?
Yeah, I would second that. Like the tool support for building WebXR stuff is really not great at the moment. Which is one reason why we build Croquet, and we build it in a different way, where we started with the multiplayer and kind of built the 3D stuff and all the worlds on top. So it would be awesome if there was something like Unity, but made for the web. Lots of people are still using Unity because it's a very nice tool, but it's not really made for WebXR, right?
Yeah.
It's barely
And
made for WebGL.
exactly. So having something like that in to make it a lot easier for people to build these rich worlds is, I think, hindering the progress. And then when you see some WebXR experiences, they look great visually, but if we think about what the metaverse should be, where you really have rich multiplayer experiences, that is so much harder even than just getting the graphics right. Yeah, and so
Yeah.
multiplayer pretty much sucks in every engine. And so
Yeah, doing all that is really difficult.
and so if people are interested in multiplayer, they should really check out Croquet, I think, because it's so fundamental to have everything be multiplayer by default, and also have stuff that, like, if you have a distributed physics engine and all these kind of things that you really cannot do with the old kind of technologies. So I think people would like that. And the cool thing is the multiplayer library is completely separate from our 3D stuff. In fact, our servers don't even know if you're running a 3D game or not. It's really the the multiplayer thing is the fundamental thing, and you can use it for 2D, you can use it for 3D, you can use it for WebXR. So yeah,
That's cool.
I
Smart.
think multiplayer really is the thing where people are most struggling with.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of infrastructure I think that needs to be just given in certain cases. Things like voice chat, especially spatialized voice chat. I think
Hmm.
that a lot of game developers would really appreciate to having easy access to it, especially since the web stack basically allows people to build these middleware that developers should be able to plug and play.
Right. Those things need to be really pluggable. It's but it's also how do you build these things? And like one thing you can do in Microverse is live coding your experiences if you set it up the right way, right? But you can develop on your desktop and it's immediately in your headset. And so I think those kind of experiences really need to be more common to make it fun to develop that stuff. Like net code is never fun to develop. So the less you have to do of that is the better.
I want to talk briefly about that live coding aspect in just a moment, but I also want to get to Earthworm Jim. He is like this tool that really, I think, lowers the barrier to entry for creating 3D models. And you also have made a lot of A-frame stuff, and I think something that also binds a lot of us in WebXR is that it's not just about what we create, but it's about how we create things, because so much kind of needs to get built in terms of like the web becoming a
Shareability.
proper game dev environment and whatnot.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I think actually I see a nice little theme going here where everyone is sort of complaining about the tooling. Let me at least look at it from my point. Like I said before, I'm not a professional developer. I'm not a designer at all, but I do have lots of experience. I've really have some extensive experience also with Unity, for instance. But I always found these tools to be really hard to use, especially for someone who doesn't do it on a day-to-day basis. Every time I start up, I go, "Oh yeah, how does this work anymore?" I just forget about it because it's if you don't continuously sort of do it, there's just too many options. I was playing around with.
Oh, we lost you.
Oh,
So you're gone, I think.
oh no.
Jim.
Hello?
Here you
Hello?
are. There you are.
Yeah.
There you go.
Do you still hear
you're
me?
back. You're back. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't know
Done.
where I went. Okay. But I actually I was playing around with Blender a bit this week to get my booth optimized for the expo. And again, I sort of went, okay, this is why I don't like these tools. They are really professional tools, basically. They take a lot of work. And when I started out with A-Frame, I was amazed how quickly you could get something up and running. I was amazed that it worked everywhere. I was playing around with Unity and it didn't even work as a separate application without doing all kinds of complex stuff. Here it worked on my phone. I had an Oculus Go. It worked there. It worked on my desktop. I could show it in the office to someone and say, hey, look at this. That was just amazing. Just being able to get everything working basically everywhere. And that really felt sort of old school, where you could, as a single guy in your attic, still make something that was great and could match with the rest of the world. So that's why I really stuck with the whole WebXR. And I had the same feeling, but on the other hand, even though the tools are great, it's really difficult to make something nice of it. You had lots and lots of small experiences, which are basically, I don't know, cubes and cones, and that's about it. And that's how fancy they get. And that sort of annoyed me. I thought this would be a great game if it didn't look shit like it does. So that's sort of how I came into well, let me try to do some stuff first. Make a planet, those sort of things, smooth out some stuff. And as I went along, I went, okay, this is actually quite nice. Maybe I can sort of extend on that. And then I got into sort of an extreme feature creep, etc. So
Yeah, on the screen here, I've got smooth voxels, and for folks that haven't checked it out, I mean, here's like a good graph. Where's that apple that transforms?
it's all the way at the top.
Here we go. Look at this. I mean, modeling this in Blender is hard mode, but modeling this in a voxel editor,
It's
yeah.
really simple. It's really simple. And that sort of I have a lot of fun actually. Many nights I sort of want to do some work, and actually I got stuck on just making some voxel stuff in there. It's so much fun to play around with it. I got you can load a Magica voxel model and then play with that. But actually I do a lot of them just hand coded, and it's so easy to do. So all of these are just
You're
plain
hand
voxel
coding
models.
this?
I was gonna
Yeah,
ask
yeah.
it.
This one is actually hand coded. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just it's just some simple ASCII art, basically. If you ever done that in the past, this is
It's kind of
as
hard
hard as
mode.
that is. But it's indeed, I use Magica Voxel much more lately, so that is a lot easier.
I just
So
want to say that this, compared to if you look at the Vox model format that Magic of Voxel produces, this is so much nicer, and it's smaller, and it's readable. Like, and I think this would be awesome for also if you wanted to like train AI on stuff. It could be very interesting from that POV too.
yeah, and this is also because it's so because it's a simple text format. This is really easy to generate. I've got some examples also online where you can just generate planets and that kind of stuff. It's relatively so easy to do all of that stuff because it's such a simple format to handle. Anyone can program it to do that stuff.
So do you write
um,
code to make this, or do you have an interactive editor?
no. It's what you see on the screen is it. It's just a plain text file, and basically it's like ASCII art, and where you put your characters, that's where your voxels are, and that's about it. And then you've got
Yeah, I
layers next to each
cannot
other.
really see the
No, you cannot
screen,
see it,
but
but
yeah, okay.
that's about it. It's just a simple text format, but it's so
That is-
simple that especially for the smaller voxel models, you can easily
That is,
try
I
it
mean,
out.
it's like
But
digital clay in a way.
yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
So it's sort of I'm trying to to actually do some work with this, but I keep sort of getting back to the tooling. But a while back I created Infinite Museum. That was all done with smooth voxels. The link is on there as well, and that's
Yep.
it's everything you see there is basically smooth voxels. So if you look
I'm gonna
around
zoom
here,
in.
it's
Or
you can just
if I walk forward.
Amazing.
yeah, walk forward.
Wow, wait. You baked the lights,
crazy.
or what's going on here?
Yeah, yeah. Actually that wasn't baked lighting yet. That was manually just making the voxels a bit lighter, and they're faded, so it looks like baked lighting. But I got bored with that, so in the end I actually added baked lighting to my stuff. So if you saw the booth behind me just before, all of that is baked lighting basically.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just manual
For
stuff.
here, you just made the tiles a bit lighter.
Yeah, as simple as
Wow, that's
that.
brilliant.
But it looks really great, I think.
Yep.
And the same goes for the lighting in the ceiling. It's all
That'd be
just
very
lighter
cool
voxels.
for,
Very
going back
cool.
to the live editing, I think that's a huge part of this. I want to make cool stuff in a collaborative environment. And, that's been kind of so much of what people love about projects like Janus and Hyper5, for instance, and Neos VR. If y'all ever been in Neos, everybody's in there building in real time. Meanwhile, like platforms like VRChat, they separate it from like the editing environment, where it's like you're either in the client or you're in Unity in the editor. But there is a way we could have both, and there's some work done where you could essentially overlay these native apps with WebXR. And this was based on the project Metachromium, which you could overlay WebXR with alongside um, Steam VR, and kind of just how overlay programs work in general. But I would love for in the future bringing up some like screens and just any kind of world you want to hang out in and build more worlds. You could.
But
I think so.
you're describing a native application with WebXR embedded, right? Not the other way around.
Correct. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's basically kind of like WebXR is the fudge on top of a ice cream sundae.
Gotcha.
So like
That's great.
yeah, over here what you kind of see in this image is basically a WebXR app locked to like the wrist bone, and And
That's amazing.
that other avatar there is a player 2 in a party system. So it's basically like WebAR chat
That's a
overlaying
web view.
Steam VR.
That's a web view.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like loading tabs
Nice.
in 3D space. So that there's an awesome talk about it, and it gets also into like this, I think the most underrated demo ever, which was when someone basically created a cool way to do portals in between apps, and which was completely seamless between native and web and web and web.
Mm-hmm.
You could have
Cross
a seamless,
domain.
yes.
Wow.
Mozilla Hubs to Gorilla Tag. Look at that seamlessness.
Wow. Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Okay.
this needs more recognition. I mean, this was like the most incredible demo I've ever seen, and it's all taken in one take. I just made some gifs out of it. It was using Metachromium in the for powering it, but I kind of see Metachromium as like a proof of concept for like browser teams to implement the means of having these kinds of layers, you know, where we could author WebXR as AR in people's VR.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even just having multiple WebXR worlds, being able to combine those would be a step forward.
Yep.
But integrating that with native apps, wow. Yep.
Well, but even not whole worlds, like this actually touches on what I'm struggling with right now, which is the current version of the web is a lot of components, right? Like you make something, I embed it in my website, and there's all these plugins. But for WebXR, I'm finding it very difficult to combine different WebXR quote unquote components. Like if you made one in Three.js, one in Babylon or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
bringing them both into the same world or like overlaying them with one render, like that is.
Can I show you something?
I
Look
would
on the
love to
screen
see.
here.
Yep.
Okay, so like what you're about to see here is loading up Mozilla Hubs. And this is all in a browser, by the way. This is ExoKit Web. So now you loaded up Hubs, Solar System, a classic sort of like WebXR demo by Toshiro. And then you can kind of move them around, right? Like kind of like 3D apps in cyberspace, or like tabs, you know, in a browser. So he's just loading up 3D tabs. And then what is this? Supercraft. And then CryptoVoxels, which is Babylon JS, right?
Wow.
Yep.
So you do have like 3 and Babylon composable together.
How?
I think the
Incredible.
composability is really key. Basically, we need the equivalent of the composer on the desktop, like the Linux desktop, which composes application outputs from different applications in 2D or 2.5D. We just need the same thing in 3D. And that way you can combine any kind of 3D thing in the same, what looks like the same world.
And this can be so liberating for developers. Like, you know, going back to the topic of adding multiplayer, like imagine if that was just something that you can compose into your any app, you know. Like for example, there was a painter, and if you just add a multiplayer layer over a painter, then you have like exactly that, but you can do that kind of permissionlessly instead of asking support from devs in a way for them to implement it. Some really great ideas, and I just think that this is the future in which WebXR, it's the most positive sum outcome. We don't compete with native, we could compose and work together.
Exactly.
That was it.
Thank you.
But
That's really
what
the
where I'm
Apple.
struggling is with getting to that level is one is performance on the current devices. I think those are always going to be a bottleneck in terms of what we can do.
Yeah, this is going to be probably a PC VR thing. I mean, Quest
Yeah.
2, we can, you know, just barely all squeeze in here. and have a good performance and everything. But imagine loading multiple apps. That would be quite heavy for today's hardware, standalone at least.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
agree.
For my day job, I work on web components that then get embedded on native apps, right? Like you said, we're not in competition. We're making plugins for each other, and there are ways like we've found that to embed not say like a full browser, a full Chromium, but like you can um, basically make a little fake browser that just has the drawing capabilities. So that might help. Something like that might help work around some of the performance constraints because you don't have to load like a whole instance of whatever environment you want to embed.
True.
Hmm.
Let me get back to my notes over here. We are at the 2-hour mark for the WebXR community meetup, and just want to be mindful of people's time, and we can kind of sprint through some of these, but let's do a lightning round, okay? You got to answer very quick in like 10 seconds on your favorite tools, starting with M-Sub2. Favorite tools.
Favorite tools: A-Frame, Wonderland Engine. They're the two that I've worked with the most. Just it's very easy to like start getting things like in a scene, and then the
A-Frame and
scripting on
Wonderland
both
Engine.
is
Got it.
yep.
Sryle.
For me, it would be yeah, A-Frame, Blender, and Wonderland Engine are, I think, essential tools for WebXR
You know, it's
for
pretty
my
cool.
work project.
ChatGPT can
Oh
make
yeah.
A-Frame code.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Also, Blender plugins, you can basically use that to create Blender plugins.
Big fan of that. Got grants for that. CodeFrau. Favorite tools.
The most fun tool I used, okay, it's a shameless self-plug, but Plop 3D. That's from 20 years ago. I think there's still a website, PLOPP 3D, if you Google that, which was an authoring tool for kids. And basically, you paint something in 2D, and then you puff it up with an air pump, like a balloon animal. Like it's just so fun to use. And yeah, these kind of
On the right
modeling
website.
tools for non-professionals. I think we need more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Well, that's a perfect segue into Jim.
Well, for me, of course, I'm doing A-Frame, but actually, it's barely A-Frame anymore. It's all 3AS by now. But the tool I use the most is Glitch. Everything I do is on Glitch. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's great. It's just online. You don't have to worry about anything. You just start typing, and it's immediately updating. It's I can try out stuff side by side. It's great. I really love it.
Wonderful. Okay. And quickly, favorite text editor. Just kidding. All right. We're not going to get into holy water. So the last question here is hopes for the future. And we're just going to take a big clockwise rotation and just give us, what are you looking forward to next for developing for WebXR?
I just want to see more people doing it. Like, content is one of the things where it's just like, that we've got a bunch of talented devs already, but there just needs to be more stuff, I think.
Sorry, what was the question?
Hopes for the future for, just what are you looking forward to and what are your hopes for developing for WebXR?
So what I'm hoping for mainly is more interoperability standards are one thing that I would love to have so that I can, for example, use other people's avatars like here in my applications and you can just join. And better tooling for sure so that new developers can come in more easily and aren't as scared to, learn all the perks of JavaScript or TypeScript or whatever the framework wants to do. And just generally more developers, I think, in the ecosystem would be amazing to have.
Agree. CodeFrau?
Yeah, you took my number one thing out of my mouth. Interoperability would be the one thing I would put on top first. Like what OMI doing is doing, for example, is so important. And with that, we can all build something in our own creative ways without being locked into whatever big platform is allowing us to do. But instead, we can be as creative as the internet allows, basically. And yeah, that is my hope for the future. And the other is, okay, getting us better hardware. I really want AR glasses that are as light as my regular glasses. So hopefully soon make it happen.
Agreed. I think
That'd be
on
amazing.
Interop, it's going to compounds everyone's efforts together, and we'll get
Precisely.
the future faster. Jim, what are your hopes?
Well, one of the things you mentioned before, I think, is important, being able to just jump over from any website to any other website to just stay immersed in VR. I think that's really needed. I was sort of worried about you guys talking about, well, some things will probably be PC VR, because I'm a true believer in standalone headsets. I think for especially WebXR, they are just awesome. You just pop them on and it
Yeah.
just works. So I hope, of course, better hardware there. Because I think that is a real great combination. If you can then move between different XR websites, that would be awesome.
Agreed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess for me, I really hope for WebXR to grow, be adopted, and for the browser to do that overlaying stuff that I was showing earlier, because then we can basically go to any kind of platform and reach more developers and creators than other places, and create WebXR stuff kind of as an activity, Imagine just kind of like hanging out in VR chat and making WebXR worlds. And you reach more people that way, but also it's useful for AR development. There's a lot of photogrammetry worlds in VR chat that I could test out AR in. And my real environment is not have enough use cases, I guess, to cover for. It's very minimal. So that's my hopes. Overlay systems via the browser for that WebXR composability. Mr. Classy Penguin guy.
What are my hopes? Well, for Apple not to kneecap the web on whatever headset they release. We'll see. And well, yeah, big composability interop. That's huge. That's my biggest hope.
Amen. And that, I just want to give a round of applause for all of our guest panelists today. This has been an awesome panel. And yes, you can play us out. Thanks everyone for joining.
The sound guy, can you play the air horn? Thank you.